matter.
Of course. Romance, cachet,
Yes,
the unique...
yes, as long as you follow my instructions.
To the very letter. May I also add,
Yes.
well, simply that Philip Spaulding is a very, very lucky young man to be marrying a woman, a lady of such exquisite taste, such daring imagination, such superb...
I couldn't agree with you more, Regis. Miss India Van Halkine is a jewel among women. One of a kind.
Rick, hey, man.
That smells like a gym.
Rick, you busy today, man?
For me? Of
Yeah.
course not. Let's see, I got a Orgo final study for tonight.
Let's see, 14 chapters I got to read from American Studies. A few other things. So you can do me a favor then? Oh, not to mention I got to work at Cedars tonight, too. What kind of favor? I'm getting married today. Can you be my best man?
Why did you marry my mother if you didn't love her?
It's very simple. When I returned to the States, I realized that I was determined to make my fortune as fast as possible, and that the fastest way for a young man to get ahead was to marry well. And that's exactly what I did. I set my sights on the daughter of one of the richest families in Springfield, Penelope Winthrop. I wooed her, and I won her. Unfortunately, I was not as successful a husband as I was a suitor. The marriage was a disaster from the beginning.
But you had children. Didn't we mean anything to you?
Everything. I always loved you and Alan.
If you had really loved us, you would have tried to make the marriage work.
But I did. It was no use. Penelope was a very neurotic and destructive woman. She made our lives together miserable.
And you were blameless. You married her only for her money. You don't think she sensed that?
I was responsible, too, yes, because I was always longing to be with Sharina again. Yes. And after 4 years, my financial position was secure. I sent for Sharina and Victoria and Conrad.
4 years. And this was after I was born.
You were 2 years old, and Penelope was pregnant with Alan.
What perfect timing.
I know. I put them in the cottage where I had lived with my parents before we went to Barbados.
Our cottage. Victoria and I were very happy when we first moved to Springfield, but Conrad wasn't.
Conrad had come to America for one reason, because he loved his sister and her baby, and he wanted to make sure they were taken care of. He still didn't trust me to do that.
I asked him to pose as my husband so the neighbors wouldn't get suspicious. He hated the masquerade. He felt it was humiliating. But he loved me and Victoria. So for my sake, he finally agreed.
Grudgingly. We argued about it over and over.
So it got to the point that
I remember. The arguments. Conrad couldn't bear the way you treated Mother. He told you to... You killed him, didn't you? You murdered Conrad!
This portion is presented by...
You killed him, didn't you?
he's your father, Victoria.
My father is a murderer.
No, daughter, you're wrong.
Murderer!
No, he loved you dearly, more dearly than you know. He did not kill anyone.
I remember.
What, child? What do you remember?
The shot. My father. No, not my father. My uncle on the floor, dying. Killed by my father.
Oh, your memories are not clear.
My memory is clear. This man killed your brother.
I swear to you, your father is not guilty of Conrad's death.
A lie. You love him, so you lie for him. You're as guilty as he is.
Don't you blame your mother.
Your life is nothing but a lie. Why should I believe you?
It was a lie of omission for the sake of our children.
Children? You never loved any of your children. Everything you did was for gain, personal gain, so don't try to use us now to save yourself.
I am past saving, Alexandra. What I'm concerned about now is your life.
What happened to Conrad? You didn't kill him, you say? If that's true, then who did?
Victoria, dear. Leave well enough alone. Nothing can change the past. And the truth will only hurt the innocent.
And condemn the guilty.
Perhaps it's the same thing.
You're right, Sharina. As always. The secret of that cottage must stay buried. Now come, it's time for you to rest.
Excuse me, but I think it's a little bit late to keep this secret buried.
Mr. Reardon, you don't know what
Mr. Spaulding! Sir. Springfield police found a skeleton in a tunnel underneath that cottage. An investigation has already started. It's only a matter of time before they trace it back to you.
You can't expect all of us to be quiet.
Are you going to kill everyone here to keep your little secret?
Mr. Spaulding, I know you're telling the truth.
You do.
Yes, you're not a murderer, but you are responsible for people's deaths.
No.
Yes, he is. Emma Witherspoon, Hillary Bauer, a lot of people have died because of this. Don't you see that Conrad's murder has set off a chain of violence that is killing people 40 years later? It's got to stop. The only way to break this chain is for you to tell the truth. Please.
So many people.
I never realized. I never intended.
Brandon, tell the truth. It's time. No more blood must be spilled because of us.
But it's going to hurt people. Our children, us.
Wounds heal in time. God willing.
I'd hoped the secret of that cottage would die with me.
It can't. Not anymore.
All right, so be it. It happened on Founders Day. 40 years ago. The festivities were still in progress. The fireworks had just started, I believe. Penelope had gone off with a bunch of her blue blood friends. You, Alexandra, had been sent home to bed, and I left the celebration. I left my wife chatting with her friend happily. And I went to visit Sharina at the cottage. It was so beautiful that night. Still dressed in your Founders Day costume. The radio was playing. I took you in my arms. We began dancing. My lady, you have never looked more beautiful than you look tonight.
It's your mother's dress.
But it's never been worn with such style, such grace. You make me so proud.
I'm glad.
You know, I wanted to dance with you tonight at the celebration. In front of everyone.
No,
I
Brandon.
did, yes. I wanted to.
You want too much. We're together now. It's all that matters.
Afraid to dance with my sister.
The fireworks over? Did my daughter enjoy the celebration?
Your daughter. You have no right to call Victoria your daughter.
Conrad, please.
If you were